Hi, and welcome to this whiteboard seminar. I will be talking about the role of values along knowledge and how environmental education can contribute in this context. I will start by drawing you a figure which I think addresses the different aspects and the complexity of what environmental issues actually are about. They concern nature, they concern society, and they concern the individual. Much of previous work has been focusing on nature. How does ecosystems work and how does climate change come about? And this is important work. Actually, with a colleague of mine, Diana Garavito, we're studying ecosystems understanding among fishers. And this is truly a complex phenomenon in itself to simply grapple with climate change. However, important enough, this is not where our solutions are. It really concerns society and the individual. And in current work conducted by Li Stunning on Chinese students, it's very interesting to see how they reason around themselves, their relationship to society, and what to do with climate change. Our findings show that they really think that others should take responsibility, and when they are reasoning around purchasing big or small cars, they're actually thinking this is something for others to take care of, and I'm allowed to drive as much as I want. Interestingly enough, they are also saying in another study that society and economic growth is actually a prerequisite for sustaining nature. So they are addressing this relationship, namely the relationship between society and nature. But important again, they think that nature works in static ways, and if we take something out, we can simply put it back. It's eternal, and also this non-dynamic view of nature is problematic, since we know that nature works in complex ways. Climate change in China might be ending up in irreversible processes. Another study currently being conducted concerns students' understanding of price. Price is a key concept in economics, but it's very important because it relates to our everyday life. What we buy, and do we think this product has an environmental effect? And also, in economic terms, what we call negative environmental externalities is a key issue here. We're also interested in, of course, in the values that the students possess. Are they actually willing to pay that extra cost? So, well, this is in a sense a very classic figure of human nature and society and nature. I've deliberately separated individual from society because I think this relationship is very important, and it's important to understand it if we're going to meet, for example, climate challenges. So, taking a more thorough look at this relationship, I'd like to draw another figure. At the top here, we have government, either in place or to be elected. We have business as another key actor. And we have, again, the individual. As I mentioned, previous research having focused on understanding nature and so on, environmental education research, there's also been a focus on trying to get the students to change their behavior. It's a kind of a moral imperative that's been around for quite some time. What's interesting with regards to that, it's actually the notion that if we have some kind of knowledge about nature, climate change, some kind of awareness out of that, there will come some kind of behavior. Now this is a very simplistic view of this dynamic, and also taking an individual thinking about buying a particular environmental product to change business, we end up with a situation where we can just think about ourselves and say, but who else is buying this product? Do I know if someone else is buying them? Which is the prisoner's dilemma. Or even the sucker effect, which means that I end up not traveling long-distance flights, but others are. And I'm actually the only one who's doing something good for nature. So, in relationship to this, I think it's very important to stress another relation between these three actors or institutions. And it's really the role of government and individual. We need to somehow escape the social dilemma of action and get to collective action. And governments are, I'm sure, quite hesitant to take hard decisions and, for example, go on to tax CO2 emissions. But on the other hand, individuals and citizens and voters are actually dependent on such decisions, which really illustrate this interdependent relationship. And that brings back the role of values. Knowledge is important. We need to understand why we need nature in terms of ecosystem services, its dynamic ways of functioning and working. But also, this really stresses that as citizens, we really need to understand that this is something of value. I need to support and I need to value others and I need to value nature to actually support decisions that lead to collective action.